contains within itself the seeds of its own abrupt termination, a possibility of which the members of the fancy are well aware, but which they push back into a neutral corner of their unconscious when they set out for the scene of the return match.
We bring you back live to ringside, and we must point out that some of the drama attached to that knockout with 2 seconds remaining in the fight stemmed from the fact that it preserved one of the longest unbeaten streaks at the beginning of a career in the entire history of the sport. You can see that Chavez is third on that list with his 70 consecutive wins. The two fighters ahead of him fought before the turn of the century and within the decade after the turn of the century. Chavez, one of a handful of unbeaten champions in the sport today, unbeaten and untied, and the one with far and away the greatest number of fights. We credit him with 70 victories. There are some who credit him with as many as 72 or 73 victories, record keeping a bit uneven in Mexico, where most of his fights have taken place.
And this is Kyung who gave us a bit of a thrill this afternoon by almost becoming Kyung off. He was threatening not to go through with the fight in a dispute over money with promoter Don King. It was later resolved at the insistence of New Jersey Boxing Commissioner Larry Hazard in On's favor.
As you can see, he readies for his first championship fight. Kyung from the Jinju province of South Korea is 29 years old. He has been boxing for 7 years as a professional. This will be his first fight on this side of the Pacific Ocean. He saw the Taylor-Chavez bout and told us he was more impressed with Meldrick Taylor.
Korean fighters typically are very strong, very determined, well-conditioned, but lacking in world-class boxing skills.
Kyung has had 30 bouts, 29 wins. The one loss took place a few years back. 13 knockouts and 29 wins is indicative of suspect power. Maybe not the kind of punching power he would need to put up a stiff battle against Julio Ceasar Chavez.
He has the facial structure of somebody who can take punishment, but he hasn't faced anyone nearly of the caliber of the man he's in with tonight.
He told us he believes this is a bit of a crossroads fight for all Korean fighters, because he's acutely aware that those fighters have mostly shown courage and not technique when fighting in the USA. And here now is Chavez entering with what is becoming a larger and larger entourage with each passing assignment.
A remarkable fighter and athlete. All those qualities that I ascribed to Korean fighters he has, and much more, including many skills. And just look at that, his last fight exactly a month ago. And that's one of the reasons he's been able to sustain himself on top, because he keeps active, stays in shape, never has to go out of his way to get in shape for a fight.
He sees it as his responsibility to an adoring boxing public in Mexico to make himself available there to fight. And he has had 4 assignments since the Meldrick Taylor bout. This man is extraordinary in every way.
In Mexico, he was very highly regarded before the Taylor fight, but there were arguments among the cognoscenti of whether he was good as some other outstanding Mexican fighters. But after the drama of his victory over Taylor, he went up a notch, he says, and now so much is expected of him.
Another look at the record, and we remind you that we at HBO are relatively conservative in crediting Chavez with 70 wins. There are others who give him as many as 72 or 73, but for us it looks like this: 70-0, no draws, 60 knockouts. Tail of the tape, and you will see that there is little difference between the two. An inch height advantage for On. They weighed in at the same weight, 1 pound under the limit. The reach is identical at 71 inches.
And here are our punch stat numbers, which give you a profile of how active these fighters are. Of course, it's very difficult to assess these, given the difference in the caliber of opposition they have faced.
New Jersey rules for the bout. 3 judges will score it on the 10-point must. no standing 8 count, no 3 knockdown rule, and a fighter cannot be saved by the bell in any round, including the 12th, a New Jersey rule. Right now, let's go up to the ring announcer, Michael Buffer, for the pre-fight introductions.
Ladies and gentlemen, good evening and welcome to Atlantic City's Convention Hall by way of Donald Trump's Trump Plaza Hotel and Casino here on the boardwalk in Atlantic City, New Jersey. This bout is approved by the New Jersey State Athletic Control Board. Boxing commissioner here in the Garden State is Larry Hazard Sr. The chairman, Jerry Gormley. Board members, Gary Shaw and Richard Harrison. Deputy commissioners are Lawrence Wallace and R. Yogi Hiltner. Chief physician at ringside is Dr. Frank P. Doggett. Also in attendance, Dr. Earl Shaw and Dr. Paul Williams. This bout is also sanctioned by the World Boxing Council, President Jose Suleiman, and ringside supervisor Gabriel Peña Garicano. The IBF is also sanctioning this bout, President Robert W. Lee, and supervisor ringside Marion Muhammad. Alternate referee Tony Orlando, counting for the knockdown seconds, and a timekeeper is Roosevelt Gilbert. The 3 judges assigned at ringside for this bout. First of all, from Puerto Rico, Angel Guzman. From Switzerland, Franz Martí. And from the United States, Frank Brunette. And now, ladies and gentlemen, Don King Productions, in association with the Trump Plaza, presents 12 rounds of boxing for the WBC Super Lightweight and IBF Junior Welterweight Championships. The referee for this bout, working for the 72nd time in a world title match, is Tony Perez. Introducing first, fighting out of the blue corner, wearing the red trunks with red letters. He weighs an even 139 pounds, from Jinju, South Korea. His professional record, an outstanding one, 29 victories, 13 by KO, only 1 defeat. He's the #1 ranked challenger in the world. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome, Kyung. And his opponent, fighting out of the red corner, wearing the red trunks with black trim, he also weighs an even 139 pounds. From Culiacan, Mexico, an outstanding professional record, 70 consecutive victories without a loss or a tie, 60 victories by KO. Ladies and gentlemen, let's welcome the WBC Super Lightweight and IBF Junior Welterweight Champion of the World, Julio Ceasar Chavez.
This is Meldrick Taylor country, so that was a very nice